I need you to tell me this. Did the Chicago Cubs just hit a turning point in their season on the positive side? Maybe so. And y'all, a walk-off on my birthday? Oh man, we finna have a fun episode. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, Chicago Cub Central family, friends, C3 fam? Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Chicago Cub Central. Remember, this is your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I'm your host, Mike Jones. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Chicago Cub Central. Man, listen, let me tell y'all something. Your boy is hype. Not only is it my 33rd birthday today, 33 years, man. My son was born earlier this week. And of course, on top of all the, okay, those two things kind of top this, but this is still pretty sweet. The fact that the Chicago Cubs do go ahead, get their 65th win of the season on a go-ahead walk-off 2-run homer off the bat of Justin Turner. That's right. The Chicago Cubs do go ahead and win the series against the Baltimore Orioles, handing them their 61st loss of the season. Meanwhile, the Chicago Cubs stay in stride and stay in that first spot of the in that first wild card spot, and just two games behind the Milwaukee Brewers, with the Cincinnati Reds coming into town for 3 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's right, man. But listen, that hit on what was looking to be another game that the Chicago Cubs were going to look at and be like, damn, this is a series that we lost that we should have won. There are a few series like that this year that you could look at and you could say to yourself, man, you might look back and be like, when we had the National League Central lead, there were a couple series, is like that Twin series, where, you know, you look at that and you're like, damn, like we had this. We had this. This is a series we should have won. You look at, you know, games lost against the Nationals, games lost, you know, against teams that you should have beat. You look at games like that, and then you say to yourself, like, man, the Chicago Cubs could have had more. But you look at today's game, you look at the momentum swing, you look at the fact that the Chicago Cubs did what they needed to do, and they beat the Baltimore Orioles. By hook or by crook, they beat them. And they won another game. And they won another series. This is what you do. The Chicago Cubs have shown you they can win in a myriad of fashions. It's not just the close games. They have also blown teams out this season. So don't get it twisted. We can do it in different ways. But the fact that they were able to do this like this, and able to beat this team today that does still have good pitching and does still have good young hitting. Now, what's scary on the other side, and we'll get to this, is our pitching is abysmal. It is abysmal. Like, we need some serious work. Tommy Hotovy has to figure something out. And we'll probably talk about that as a second segment. But just for the first segment, I just want to celebrate the victory, man. Celebrate the feeling of a walk-off. It's a hot summer Sunday, sunny Sunday afternoon at the ballpark, Wrigley Field. And literally, you know, the Chicago Cubs are once again cruising, but the Baltimore Orioles kind of catch the sleeping Cubs, sleeping, obviously. And they're trying to figure out a way how to come back into this game. So they kind of claw their way back. They score once in the third, once in the fourth, and then once in the ninth. And of course, the Chicago Cubs then have to turn around and figure out, okay, well, how are we going to win this? How are we going to do this? And like I said, it took the heroics of Justin Turner. Dansby Swanson was able to get on base first, and then Justin Turner came up behind him and hit the home run to win the game. And again, like I said, it's one of those things where the Chicago Cubs, this is a game that they would have lost years ago, or they would have had to go into extras. But this game right here, they finished, and they finished in stride. And what a way to finish it. Now we need to go and beat another team that we're supposed to beat. But looking at the Cincinnati Reds coming into town for 3. And you do have your better part of your pitching staff pitching against them. So, Cincinnati, like I said, you need to know what you need to do. You need to come in, you need to be ready to play. You got your new pitcher that you traded for, that you believe in, Jed Craig, coming out pitching for the Cubs. You traded for him. Michael Soroka is coming and pitching in Monday's matchup against the Reds. And the Cubs have to go up against a lefty. So, like I said, we shall see what will happen with that. But all in all, just a really great feeling, a really great win for the Chicago Cubs. One of those games that could have been another sleeper game, a game where they just like literally slept through it and found themselves losing the game that they should have won. But no, the Cubs came back and they did what they had to do, and they won this game. Justin Turner with the pinch hit came through and won the game for the Cubs. So that's all you can ask for. That's all you can ask for. You also love to see that your other guys are waking up. Kyle Tucker, 2 for 3 in today's game. Seiya Suzuki, 2 for 4 in today's game. P. Crow Armstrong is really struggling right now, y'all. 0 for 4 in this game. Carson Kelly is back struggling again, 0 for 3 in this game. Ian Happ went 1 for 4. Willie Castro went 1 for 4. Nico Horner went 2 for 4 in this game. So, like I said, Colin Ray also, like I said, he had a part to play in today's game. He did pitch 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts on 77 pitches, 52 of those being strikes. His ERA is 4.23. So you look at that, and you tell yourself, the Chicago Cubs, pitching just ain't our strong suit right now. And it was something that we were proud of at the beginning of the season. So I look for us to find a way to get our pitching staff back where it needs to be. Get Yency Almonte right. Figure out what's going on with Brad Keller. Figure out what's going on with Drew Pomerantz. And keep Danny Palencia hot. Obviously, he gave up 2 hits in this game. He gave up 1 earned run, 1 strikeout in this game. He did end up picking up the win in this game. His season record is now 1-2. But still, you as Chicago Cubs players, as Chicago Cubs fans, we need to cheer this team on. We have to be behind them. And it's really going to come up to us and our pitching. We have to figure out what's going on with our bullpen pitching, our pitching in general. Now, again, the Reds have a tough road ahead of them because they're going to face our best 3. So it's not going to be easy. But the back 2 is tough. We need Jameson Taillon to come back and be ready to go. We need Jameson Taillon to come back and be sharp. Shota Imanaga, sharp. Matthew Boyd, sharp. We need these pitchers to come and step through and really help guide this team while our offense is struggling. I have no doubt that PCA will probably pick things up. He's struggling right now. He's not getting the calls like he was. But I do expect him to pick things up. Kyle Tucker, I expect him to pick things up. Hopefully, Seiya Suzuki can too. I don't know about Ian Happ, but, and when Miguel Amaya gets back, we're going to have even more firepower. We just have to see what happens. But the Chicago Cubs will continue to do what they need to do to hopefully stay in stride and keep it close. And then who knows what's going to happen when the Brewers come for 5. That really kind of almost will decide the season for the most part. Brewers will come for 5 in about a week and a half. That's going to make the major point into this season. You go 3 against the Cardinals after the Reds. So you got a lot of divisional games. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Very interesting to see what happens. But yet and still, the Chicago Cubs do go ahead and pick up this victory today on a walk-off. Happy about that. Cannot tell you guys how happy I am about that. Excited. I mean, hopefully this is a momentum shift. Hopefully this causes this team to shift their momentum. Hopefully this checks the offense back into gear and they are able to pick up more victories. Hopefully we start hitting home runs again. I feel like we've been on a home run drought. Just awful home run drought. But hopefully we pick that back up again. Hopefully this team figures it out. Hopefully so. We'll see what happens, man. But yeah, we got 3 against the Reds. We will see the Reds Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday are 7:05 games, and Wednesday is a 1:20 matinee. So Wednesday you'll see Cade Horton, and then you will go ahead and see Shota Imanaga Tuesday pitching, and then Monday it is Michael Soroka versus Nick Lodolo for the Cincinnati Reds. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Chicago Cubs can pile on, man, and have some fun. Matthew Boyd will pitch Friday for the Chicago Cubs as they visit St. Louis for the last time. It will be Michael McGreevy pitching for the St. Louis Cardinals. And then Saturday you will see Colin Ray go up against Andre Palante, whom the Chicago Cubs touched up last time. He's 6-7, so we'll see that game. And then finally that Sunday night baseball matchup, it will be Sonny Gray, who is 10-5, going up against Michael Soroka. So that will be interesting to watch. And then the Chicago Cubs will head to Toronto to face the Blue Jays, and then the Pirates, and then that 5-game series against the Brewers. So a lot of games left to be played, a lot to happen. We will see what happens, but we still got much more baseball left to be played. So we will see what happens. But let's continue to cheer on our team. Let's continue to be excited. We got a walk-off win today. We love when those happen. So, yeah, man, appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button. What do you guys think we need to do to get our bullpen fixed? I mean, like I said, we have to figure something out. We're going to get Matthew Boyd back healthy, and we're going to end up getting Javi Assad back healthy too. Do you think that Javi ought to be slotted into a starter role and Colin Ray moved to a bullpen position, or do you think we keep Colin Ray in the starting lineup? Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central. Remember, this is your #1 spot for all things Chicago Cubs. Please go ahead and leave a like, share, or subscribe, and also leave comments below. Let's get active, y'all, in those comments. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you guys so much. And of course, as always, every single time the Chicago Cubs win, we fly the W on this channel. Appreciate you guys so much once again for tuning in. Thank you already in advance for all the birthday wishes. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Until next time, go Cubs, go.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.